Welcome back, listener, to Alec and Dave Talk About Shit. I am Alec.
And I'm Dave, and I think listener is like my favorite bit that we have.
Welcome back, listener.
Listener is singular.
Just
It's
one? We're not
it's just
assuming
one.
there's more than one.
We both know exactly.
Yeah, we're not going to assume there's more than one. At any time, it might be. It's usually my sister. It's usually Rowan. It might be somebody else this time. Who knows? It feels like we consistently get like one view. I don't know. That's all I know. Welcome to an early morning edition of Alec and Dave Talk About Shit. It is the morning after the Oscars. We did not stay up late. We instead decided to get up so that we would be tired and hungover while doing this, which is perfect. Perfect.
Instead of drunk, which I would have been drunk.
Yes, although that would have potentially been funnier.
Yeah.
This
Someday we should do a drunk post Oscars pod. Like I feel like that should happen at some point.
Drunk post Oscars pod will absolutely happen. Maybe next year. I think that will be funnier. I do feel like this is truer. The like tired and hungover vibe is truer to generally how you feel when the Oscars are done, which is sort of a like relief that everything is over, but like you're kind of exhausted, you know. So we're gonna do our Oscar reactions here. I just for a recap for anyone who didn't watch, or even if you did, as I'm sure our listener did. Here's sort of the general vibe of the night. We had one battle, won 6 Oscars. Picture, director, supporting actor for Sean Penn. Adapted screenplay, editing, casting. Sinners, the other big contender, won 4. Actor for Michael B. Jordan. Original screenplay, which thankfully did let, Brian Coogler get on stage. Cinematography, which was a big one because Autumn Gerald Arkapaw was the first woman ever to win Best Cinematography. And original score. Other than that, literally just Frankenstein for costume, makeup, and production design won 3 Oscars, and K-pop Demon Hunters won 2 for animated original song. Every other movie that could have possibly won only won 1 Oscar. Or if you were one of the 4 Best Picture contenders that won 0 Oscars, Begonia, Secret Agent, Train Dreams, or Marty Supreme. Those were all blanked for the night. I think also kind of notably, it was just an accident, was blanked for the night, even though it wasn't nominated for Best Picture. That was like nominated for a couple different awards and considered, coming into the nominations, everybody thought that was going to be a contender potentially. So, yeah, I mean, we can get into all the other little things that happen along the way here, but with that recap in mind, how did you feel about like the results of the Oscars this year, Dave?
I think it makes sense, right? It was a lot of chalk. First off,
yeah.
I think like 20 out of 25 chalk winners based on the favorite one. So there wasn't a lot of surprises, and the surprises I really liked. But what I really appreciated was like the two. It's very rare that the 2 movies that are front runners at the Oscars are like both in my top 5 movies of the year. Like I really like both of them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how they did this because nobody's supposed to know the results. But it really did feel like Sinners won, then One Battle won, then Sinners won, then One Battle won. There was never a point where I was watching the telecast and was like, man, One Battle is cleaning up. There was no point where they won like 6 in a row. It was only like Frankenstein was the only one, I think, because they did costume, hair, and makeup, and then production design all right in a row, and they all
Hmm.
went to Frankenstein for chalk, and I was like, well, thank God that's over. Like,
Yeah, yeah. It was funny. I was thinking that during the broadcast. I was like, if you were watching this and you had no idea, like if you just randomly turned this on without any, precursors, no knowledge of film this year, you would be like, wow, Frankenstein must be the best movie of the year. Frankenstein's
yeah.
going to win the Oscar,
Um,
But yeah, it was very back and
so
forth. Very, very one punch for another kind of thing, for sure, all night.
yeah,
And
and it just felt that way the whole time.
hmm hmm
There wasn't. I guess this is a bad example, but like I always think of like the Return of the King Oscar
hmm
year, where it was just like they won everything, and the
yeah.
whole night it was just like, oh, they won again, like just the whole night, and it really didn't feel that way. It really didn't feel that way. I will say Ryan Coogler, and we can talk. We'll talk about the actual telecast later, but
hmm
Ryan Coogler might be my new favorite reaction person. Like Ryan
Oh yeah,
Coogler needs to always be nominated so that he can always be in that theater. Like
it just cut
he's
to
the
Coogler,
best.
cut to
Yeah, yeah,
Coogler whenever you can. Um, yeah, I mean, obviously, like the way they were intercutting between Coogler and we're getting ahead of ourselves. Cutting between Coogler and Michael B. Jordan during his Best Actor speech made it feel like Coogler was on stage with him because they
yes.
just
Oh
kept
yeah,
cutting back to him and they kept having being like, "I love you, I love you," kind of like moments with each other, just beautiful, like a lovely friendship between those two men. Um, but yeah, I also this feels like a good moment to bring up the fact that because we're discussing reaction shots. I also quite enjoyed the times they would cut to Stellan Skarsgård. I feel like he is surprisingly good at the reaction shot. Um, and I would also note, I don't think that they ever cut to Timothy Chalamet for a reaction.
I don't think they did.
I think there
I
was
can.
not
I
a
was.
single time that they cut to
I was
Chalamet.
looking specifically with Michael B. Jordan accepting. I was like wondering if they were going to cut to Timmy, and they
Mm-hmm.
did not. And I bet he was pissed.
I mean, honestly, even after the first, like the joke, I think that Conan made on stage, there was some joke that he made about Timothy Chalamet, and I don't remember exactly what it was. And they didn't cut to him, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. They usually they'll like cut to the celebrity being like, haha, good show, sir, or whatever, but like they did not. And then one of the oh God, what was it? One of the people accepting an award, I think it was for maybe documentary short, made a comment right at the end about like ballet and opera being important or something. And there was also a little moment where I was like, "Are we cutting to Chalamet? Are we cutting to him?
No,
No?
they cut
Okay."
to him. They cut to him once during. You might have missed it. They cut to him once during Conan's monologue because
I
Conan did more than one
mhm.
bit about Timmy. So
Okay.
they cut to him one time, and then that was it. The end. They
Yeah,
even
I
like
did.
tried to pan. They because like a bunch of people. He was sitting in the aisle, like where you would expect a potential winner to sit. He was sitting where a lot of people had to walk past him to get to the stage. And
Mhm.
every time they panned over him. Like they really tried, I think, to not get him in a shot.
Yeah, I think if
Like
there's anything we're feeling good about right now, it's the prediction from last episode that like he's getting Leo'd for a few years. Like I
he's
think
oh he's not gonna like he might not come next year.
yeah.
He is not.
Hmm.
I think there are people who are big, who are important people in the academy who do not like him right now.
Yeah, it felt very apparent, like watching this. There was really no Kendall Jenner shot, whatever. Yeah, it was all pretty apparent. And I did probably miss a first part of it, actually. This is like a very minor gripe and really kind of my own fault in some ways, but like, I actually missed the first part of the monologue. I was watching on Disney Plus because Disney Plus has the Hulu tab now.
Yeah.
And I usually just go to Disney Plus because it has both things. So I haven't logged into my Hulu for a while. I've just been using Disney Plus for both, which I thought was what Disney wanted me to do. I thought that's why they were like basically getting rid of Hulu ultimately as an app and just making it a thing. So I was watching the pre-show coverage on Disney Plus, and then it ended, and I was like, "Where are the Oscars?" And they aren't on Disney Plus. I had to go to the Hulu app, which I had not updated for a while. So when I went to the Hulu app, it was like, "You need to sign back in," and like it took a while to get into Hulu. So I missed a good like 5 minutes of the entire thing, which kind of pissed me off.
That's so stupid that they had the pre-show and not the regular Oscars. That's
why?
If you're not gonna have both, don't like. If you're not gonna have one, don't have any. Like,
don't have any. Just be like, hey, by the way, you gotta go to actual Hulu to go watch the Oscars.
You could have figured that out like 20 minutes before the Oscars started.
So long. The pre-show was so long. I could have known so much longer before that. Not like the moment that it happened, Anyway, so still somehow, even though it was easier than in previous years because it was just on Hulu, still somehow it was a little annoying.
Well, at least Hulu didn't like stop showing the Oscars like at 9:30 like they did last year.
Right, I forgot about
insane. Yeah.
That was nuts. That was so weird.
So even when they didn't fuck it up completely, they still did something stupid. Like
they still did something just a little stupid, just a little dumb. I don't know. I can't be the only person who was caught in this trap, but I'm sure it didn't affect very many people. But I don't know. Is this we've been talking about the broadcast a little bit. I do want to jump back into the results though, because we can get to the broadcast as we do this. Because you were talking about the results. It felt very chalk. It felt very like back and forth, kind of between sinners in one battle. I will say, I think the one moment where I felt pretty damn confident that it was going to be one battle at the end, kind of cleaning up a little bit more at the end of the night, was Sean Penn winning. I think that was
yeah. Well, for me, it was if there was going to be a Sinners upset for Best Picture, you needed to have either Delroy or
win
one of those supporting. If they won one of the two supportings, then I was like, this is a real race. Yeah. You know what I mean?
The train's rolling. Yeah.
And then when one battle, one casting, which is actually one of the few ones that I'm like, this is stupid. Like I've made this rant before. Casting like best casting director shouldn't be congratulations, you got the most famous people on set. It just shouldn't be that.
Yeah.
And that's like, yes, she found one actress who was not immensely famous.
Right. And also literally cast 3 previous Oscar winners in the main roles.
Yeah.
Like Penn, Del Toro, and DiCaprio all have Oscars.
All have Oscars.
You're taking a little bit of a chance on Teyana Taylor, but and then Jason.
She's one of the most before this movie. She's one of the most famous people in the world. Like, yes. Right? Like,
yeah. But was she? Yeah, I guess a little bit of a chance. What I'm saying is like, what was the last like big movie she was in? Previous to this, like I couldn't personally tell you because I haven't been following her career, but I could just be wrong. She could be. I thought maybe she was more of like a television actress or something. But yeah, this just shows you how
I
little
guess
I
I
know
guess
about Teyana Taylor's
the
career.
most like the biggest movie she was in before this was Coming to America 2.
Which is, I mean, yeah, I'm sure that a lot of people watch that. So
Yeah.
that's pretty big.
But like she's been in a lot. It's not like she's a new actress. She's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. So yeah, and Regina King. I mean, yeah. There's no. It's really just Chase Infinity, like you were saying.
Yeah.
There's no real swing based on anything else. Um, I guess there were a lot of small, like kind of more background players. You know, the kids at Chase Infinity's school, and you know, like some of the white supremacist guys. Like, you know, everybody in that vein was well cast. I suppose. I'm totally on board with you that it's just like the majority of screen time is taken up by literal Oscar winners. It's not that hard of a call.
Yeah. It's not hard at all. Like
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so like that was really, I mean, that was the only time I was really genuinely disappointed by a winner. My most hated documentary of the year did not win, which I am so happy about.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Netflix.
Yeah. It also, I don't know if you noticed, but it got some, when they were announcing the, you know, the nominees, that one got like louder cheers, it felt like, than the other ones. The Perfect.
Oh, I did not notice that.
It was a little, you know, this is maybe me, I think, projecting. But
I think there was a large Netflix contingent there.
Yeah.
At the award show. And then I think we have to talk about this because we were texting about it earlier. Mm-hmm. The tie hasn't happened in over, you know, in like 15 years.
A long time.
And okay, so you don't think so? Okay, here's what I know about the Oscars. There is a representative of the place that counts the votes.
Yeah. I actually did. I reminded myself of which accounting firm it is because I remembered it was a famous accounting firm. It's PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Okay, so there is a person at the award show from PricewaterhouseCoopers that has been there every year since the La La Land disaster.
Yeah.
Right? And they know the results.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So here's what I think happened. Okay? Whoever that guy was, that person who knows the results, had to have talked to Camille Nanjiani and been like, hey, here's the deal. It's a tie.
Mm-hmm.
Here is the direction from ABC. So he had to tell Camille that there's a tie. He had to tell ABC that there's a tie so that they could decide how to handle it.
I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. I think there's too much liability, especially with the amount of money now that is out there in terms of betting odds and like the potential for any type of leak. And I know it could be like very soon beforehand. I'm not saying I absolutely know you're wrong or something. Like I think that's a possibility of what happened. But what I watched was Kumail looking genuinely pretty surprised. I think when he opened that envelope, he looked pretty surprised.
He had so much control of the room. Right?
Yes,
yes.
But you're talking about a guy who has been doing stand-up for like 2 decades and has done improv. And like,
do you think
he just made it? It's not impossible. Two things are not impossible at all. It's not impossible at all that he opened up that envelope, and on the envelope it said, "It's a tie. Announce one winner. Let them take the award. Then announce the other." That could absolutely have just been written on the envelope, or frankly, that he just being a performer who has worked in this industry for a long time was just like, "All right. I'm improv here. Let's do one winner and then the other."
No way it's that. There's no way it's that.
It's absolutely possible. Because here's the thing. they have absolutely had people, I believe, like stand to the side before. While people are like, you could also just have both winners get announced, and then they all come up to the stage, and one winner stands to the side while the other winner takes the mic, and they wait, and then they come do it. Either way would be kind of fine production wise. There's not really a wrong answer.
It's
just either one would be okay.
I think that ABC
mm-hmm.
before voting started was like, if there's a tie, this is what we're doing. I think ABC had to be involved in that conversation.
They could also tell all presenters this as a just sort of debriefing of prepping presenters.
But this is here's also the situation. Here's the thing that I don't think that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they do that, do you really think all of the presenters are going to listen? Right? Like I go back.
They're presenting at the Oscars. Yes, this isn't like you're getting trained to be a busser at a restaurant and you can fuck around for a while.
Joaquin Phoenix had directions of what to do if Anthony Hopkins won, and he was instead he was like, "The Oscars are over. Bye." No,
because that's Joaquin Phoenix, and you know that's one person in one example who was a weird, untrustworthy person, and also they didn't have control over whether he would be the presenter there because he won last year. So they have. I
understand.
They always give that.
But
this is just a random dude that they chose who's a professional at doing this kind of thing, and he's better at it than the one person you just mentioned as a straw man. But let's stop, dude. I don't understand why you're so stubbornly passionate about it had to be this one way. My argument is not it was another way. My argument is just we don't really know. I don't know. It could have been what you're saying. It also could have absolutely been that he was surprised and he made a call on the spot and the production just adjusted because they're all professionals and they're able to adjust. Or they could tell people beforehand, or it could be written down on the envelope. All of those things are possible. I don't really know which one it is.
I don't think it was written down on the envelope because most people open the envelope while the camera's on them. And he obviously didn't. And so, but
he opened the envelope while the camera was on him. What are you talking about? He didn't open the envelope while the camera was on him. He opened the envelope. He opened it while the camera was on him.
My memory is that he opened the envelope while while everything was being announced.
I guess possibly, but that's not what happens, and I don't think that's what happened in that moment. My memory is seeing him open the envelope, but this is we're getting into the weeds, I don't know.
So if you're my whole argument of this is if you're gonna have a representative from WaterhouseCoopers there, this is why you have them there. You have them there so they can communicate with presenters to make it so that there isn't another catastrophe. And if ever they were going to so I wouldn't be surprised if, before any votes were in, ABC and WaterhouseCoopers had a meeting and they were like, if there's a tie, what do we do? And they decided on a plan.
Yeah.
Right?
That's also very possible. Totally possible.
And then I would be insanely shocked if the guy from WaterhouseCoopers didn't talk to Camille Nanjiani beforehand and was like, hey, here's the deal. This happens once every 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
You have a tie. Here's what you do.
Yeah. Possibly.
If they didn't prep Camille, that is I genuinely believe this is borderline live TV malfeasant.
After watching that broadcast, you think that team is so on top of it that there's no way they would let that slide.
but like if you are like you have one thing under your control if you are the accounting firm, right? And
True.
it's
True. The accounting
hey,
firm doesn't want to mess up, but this would be something that wouldn't be the accounting firm's mess up. This would just be a thing the production has to adjust to. And it would be nice. You're correct. Like it would be nice for that accounting firm to tell them, but like nobody would be like, it's a tie, and the production was a little bit weird about this. Fuck you, PricewaterhouseCoopers. Like, I don't think anybody would make that connection. I think they would just be like, the production team really sucks. They should have a better idea of what to do when this kind of thing happens.
Like, because if your argument is they don't tell the presenter, then my thing is, what if it wasn't Camille Nanjiani?
Yeah.
Right? What if it wasn't a stand-up comedian? What if it was Joaquin Phoenix?
Then you would have a weird
They have to have, like, if you are an accounting firm,
but here,
you have to have a protocol of what to do in a tie.
Let's play that out. Let's play that out for a second, though, because you brought up the Joaquin Phoenix thing. Like, yes, he said it, and and Anthony Hopkins was not there, and it was the end of the Oscars, so he was just like, goodbye, and it was really awkward. That was a weird thing. That was such a weird thing. But in this case, I do think like you have Joaquin Phoenix or maybe like stoned James Franco out there or something. Like I think he would just go, oh shit, it's a tie. And then he would read both the winners, and then they would both just go up at the same time, probably, and then they would just kind of figure it out from there. Like, I feel like even the winners would just sort of be like, you want to go first, and then we'll go after that? Like, I don't think it would have been that big of a deal if he didn't lay out that plan of, like, I'm going to do one, give you your moment, and then do another, give you your moment. Like, I think that was the best way to do it, because it did give them each, like, individual stage time and individual celebration time. But it wasn't the only solution, is my only point. Like, but that other solution would have also been like kind of fine. I don't think anybody would have complained, So, yeah, I think what you're saying is absolutely a possibility. It could be how they handled it, and it could just be that Camille's kind of surprised reaction is Camille acting because he's an actor, and he did know it beforehand. Or it could be that he kind of just improvised some stuff, or that there was maybe some stuff on the envelope. Like, I just think there's a whole bunch of ways that could have gone down,
And what I'm saying is, if I am an employee at WaterhouseCooper, walking into, like, and I know all of the results, walking into that situation, I'm like, I have one job, and it's talk to Camille.
And
if fair. Nobody did that, that's crazy.
Yes, and I do think like that they probably know. I think they probably would know enough to tell them to do that. I will push back on one thing a little bit, which is that I believe they would. I think because this is a pretty big job, I don't know if the person holding the envelopes has memorized every single winner. I'm not sure if that's the case, because I do think they have different people like formulating the winners and like putting them in the envelopes and stuff. So like. They could still tell that person who has the briefcase, like, hey, you don't, like, you shouldn't be a person who knows all the winners and is the only person on earth who knows every single winner. It could be still sort of siloed into, like, there are a couple random people who know winners for different things. And that would also, again, that would limit any liability of a leak, because one person knowing every winner could potentially make some money gambling, But they would definitely still, I think, tell them, hey, there is one winner that's a tie, without telling them who won, and go, you need to talk to this person. I think all that's very possible. I was just saying, I think from what I've read, it seems like there's different people who do this at PricewaterhouseCoopers. I don't think it's like one guy who does everything.
My understanding is there is one representative from WaterhouseCooper who knows all of the results. That is my understanding.
That might be, that's totally possible. Yeah. Either way. Doesn't matter.
But your argument for you just watched that telecast, do you really think that they're on top of their game, is not a bad argument. Like
No, like you're assuming like what people would do in a logical, competent sense. And I just feel like, I don't know, man. I feel like the entire broadcast was very much wrapped up with that moment where they came back from commercial. and something happened to Conan O'Brien's like right, and he was like, "What was that?" And then he just stood on stage for a good like 10 to 15 seconds, just kind of like to himself and to the people nearby him in the rows, being like, "It's okay, we're almost done. We're almost done. We're all gonna get through this."
I don't think it was 10 to 15. I think it was 5. But like,
it was a long 5. It was a long 5.
The amount of time that they took to basically either play people off or cut away or whatever was long enough where I'm like, if you just didn't do that, this would have actually ended on time. Like,
it would have. But the best moment of that, like cutting back to Conan O'Brien, is that he ended that like 5 long seconds by being like, "Are we back? Well, you never know. Who could know? You never know." He was like, "Oh, are we live? You never know." Like to the camera. Like, okay, yeah, this has been a bit of a mess. You know, there was that first, I think it was the guy actually who made the comment about the ballet opera thing, but they basically, I guess they had cut away from it to Conan because they were like, he needs to start doing stuff again. But I think they retracted the microphone from that guy's hand.
And I think Conan did the perfectly right thing of just being like, no, I'm gonna keep staring at them until they put the lights back on. Like, this, I am not moving on until this man gets a chance to speak. Period. End of story. And I love Conan for that fact.
And literally making a joke about it later, where he was like, "I know we're tight, but retracting a microphone out of a man's hand who has just started talking is hilarious."
Oh man. So, and I will also say about the actual telecast. So, ABC, just stop playing people off. Just shut. There's one reason to watch these awards, and it's to watch people receive awards.
Yeah.
That's what we're all expecting to see. Unless somebody is obviously struggling. Like, let them speak. Right? Like, there is one reason and one reason only to play someone off. And it's to save them from, like, embarrassment. Right? It's not to save 30 seconds. All of these people know that they have a limited amount of time. Just take the extra 30 seconds and let them talk. Okay?
Yeah.
If you are like, okay, this person's rambling and does not know how to end this, play them off. That is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
Otherwise, shut the fuck up and let them receive their award.
And
also, if YouTube doesn't fix this, I'm gonna be so pissed at YouTube. Right? Like,
yeah. Small aside, one of the best bits, by the way, was those Jane Lynch fake YouTube ads about the like.
Oh yeah, that was a really good bit. That was a really funny bit.
But yes, 100% agreed on this, and like I also just want to say what happened. I feel like this used to be the case, like when we were growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, when they would play people off. It would start with like a low orchestra swell, kind of like they would start playing people off with like a little like a quiet violin to be like, hey, by the way, we're gonna start playing you off. Now it's just sort of like bah, 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 and you're like, what the fuck, man? Like, no 2-second warning, like fucking.
And I loved the people who were just like, I'm gonna talk over this. Fuck you. I love those people. Yeah. I would be one of those people. I would be like, by the way, I'm taking extra time to say fuck you, orchestra, for doing this while I'm accepting this award. Like, I love the people who were just like, no, I'm not done. And they aren't. Good for them.
And they aren't. And again, and we all agree. Everyone in the audience agrees. Like, let this other guy talk. The dude, why it was egregious for K-pop was that there was like a dude who literally seemed to be standing next to the microphone as they cut to a wide, who was like jumping, being like, "Please, can I say something?"
And I
Oh,
want to know. I need to know the person who watches the Oscars who like doesn't hate this,
yeah,
right? Like I want to watch what I want to hear from one person in the entire world who wants people to get played off, and I will eat crow. But I have to imagine that everyone watching the Oscars hates the fact that they abruptly play people off and cut somewhere else and do this.
right.
Um,
100%. It's honestly, it feels comical trying to imagine the person who, like, yeah, again, sees like K-pop demon hunters get cut off in the middle of their speech or whoever, and it's like, well, thank God.
yeah,
Thank God
I'm not
that's
here for
over.
that.
Thank God that's over. We have more time for some
Uh,
pre-planned bits that will have like a 50% hit rate.
uh,
Oh,
and then
God.
my other thought about the actual telecast is it feels like the golden moment wasn't grand enough.
The golden.
The
Oh, yeah.
golden performance
Mm-hmm.
compared, there were two performances this year: the Sinners performance and then Golden, right? It feels like the Sinners performance felt correctly grand,
Mm-hmm.
right? It felt like it met the moment. I don't think the Golden performance met the moment. It was literally just three people standing there
Well, no, not literally.
for
They
like,
started with a bunch of dancers. They kind of cleared them all out
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
bring out the three. Yeah, but they did
But then
start with
once the
more people.
once the actual like Golden song started, it really
Mm-hmm.
just felt like three people standing there singing.
Yeah,
And I
which
was
like
like, that was a little disappointing.
which in a way, I think the thing that sucks is that you wouldn't. I think because of everyone assuming that Golden's winning, which turns out to be correct, right? I think you put Golden after I Lied to You, but I think it felt empty because I Lied to You was a party. You know,
Maybe
uh,
that's it.
I think it's like I Lied to You was going to be a cooler, better thing on stage. And it's unfortunate that, like, Golden kind of just looks like more of a standard pop performance, which is like, yeah, you've got a couple people on stage, you've got some backup dancers, but it's not like a full on celebration of all black art and music throughout history. Like, it's just a different vibe, and also a tribute to, as you have said many times, one of the greatest party movies we've seen. You know, like, here's a party and it fucking rules, and you want to hang out here. That's my theory, at least, of why it felt a little like disappointing. It was also kind of like they cut that song in half. You know, I Lied to You kind of was like allowed to play out in its entirety, but like they stopped Golden before you got to like the bridge kind of breakdown thing and went back to the big ending chorus. They kind of just like did like verse and first chorus, and then they were like, "Cool, that's it."
Yeah, that
And that
felt
also felt weird.
weird.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
It was also dumb that it was at like almost 10 o'clock Eastern time.
was really
Like,
late. Yeah, yeah. Man, yeah, just a lot of weird decisions. A lot of just like kind of sloppy broadcast stuff overall. Um,
it
I did
honestly,
actually, yeah.
it felt like ABC was like, well, fuck it, we're losing this anyway. Like,
We don't have to put that much money into
we
this
don't
thing.
what are we putting effort in for? Who cares? It's
Who,
it's going to
whatever.
YouTube in 2 years anyway. Like, that's what it
Yep.
really felt like from my perspective. Of like, ABC just gave up.
Yeah. 100%. I did pull up because this will be focused more on sort of the broadcast itself. A like Entertainment Weekly, like best and worst moments of the Oscars or whatever, because I felt like it would be a good guide for remembering what happened to talk about it. But They mentioned like Conan O'Brien has kind of a best and worst because of his opening being a bit of a roller coaster. Um, they mentioned the Sinners performance we were just talking about is one of the best things. Uh, let's see. Anne Hathaway and Anna Wintour on stage is another one of their bests. I actually personally thought that felt pretty awkward. Um, but I guess maybe that was the point. I don't really know. It was funny when she said "Thank you, Emily" instead of, "Thank you, Anne," as a callback to you know. Um, and let's see, is there anything else? Oh, are you a Matt Berry fan?
No, I don't know who he is.
Okay, so you don't watch like What We Do in the Shadows or anything. He's a British.
Yeah,
He's the
no.
British guy who they got to do the announcing, who has that very like kind of voice.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was nice to hear his voice all night. They really didn't do anything with him. He is like an incredibly funny guy who's like very wacky, and they just kind of had him read facts about, like the war. I was sort of like, what? But why is he doing this though? So I felt like that was a weird choice. Um, oh, here's the one. This is what I wanted to talk to you about. How did you feel about the in memoriam segment?
I cried.
Yeah,
Straight up, I cried.
yeah, me too. I think this is like
I
they kind of need to do it this way, right? Like I know they have a lot of celebrities, like huge celebrities who died this year, but like why they've never thought of this is I don't know. This is kind of a funeral. Like I know they might be tight on time, but like I think at least one person do this, like the kind of Rob Reiner or Robert Redford or the Scarlett O'Hara or yeah, sorry, Catherine O'Hara. My God, or Diane Keaton thing. Like at least one person giving a like very heartfelt like this is my friend to sort of end it. I feel like would be a beautiful way to do the in memoriam.
I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason to push back is and maybe this is already decided by like whoever goes last, who has the hammer.
Right.
But like while watching it, I'm like, why aren't they doing something for Lynch?
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe that's too film nerdy. Like, how do they decide who to do that for?
Yeah.
And does it feel a little weird that because like there's another big name actor who passed away this past year who's not Redford, who went right before Redford. I'm totally blanking on his name.
Oh, Robert Duvall. Yeah. They gave him a little bit of a longer clip. Yeah.
While watching this, I was surprised that they didn't do one for Lynch and Duvall.
Yeah. And actually Val Kilmer was right before him too. And that was another big one. Yeah.
And so there is that part of it is like, how do you decide who gets this?
Yeah.
But I also agree with you that we should do something like that every year.
Yeah.
Because like I don't normally cry during the Oscars. I was in tears with Rachel McAdams' tribute to Diane Keaton. I was crying.
Yeah, and honestly, the end of Rob Reiner's tribute with Billy Crystal saying like we all had fun storming the castle, and then the Princess Bride music swelling, that got me too, man.
That got me too.
That got me too. Yeah, no, I agree with you that it is like it's an awkward conversation to have potentially every year, where you are just sort of like, who can we get? But it's I think it is sort of justified to just sort of go, hey, like maybe the people who would have done this tribute for Robert Duvall just like were not available, or maybe they're frankly just kind of old and like they're not gonna they're not going to even be able to pull off a Babs doing Robert Redford thing where it's like Babs is still pretty with it and able to like sing at her age, which is impressive. and do a tribute to him. You know, these are older actors with older actor friends. Maybe some of it is just, hey, who's capable, you know, and you kind of just send out to a lot of different people, like, do you think you could do a quick tribute to your friend? And they don't necessarily have to run as long, and it could be kind of a like, you have somebody step out and just say something quick about almost as many people as you want. I don't think anybody would be mad about that. This is
Yeah.
one place where, again, stop thinking about the time of the show.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like this, give as much time to this as you can, as you need to.
And I am flabbergasted by ABC and being like, no, this has to end at 3.5 hours. For what?
Who cares?
So we
Nobody
can
cares.
get to the nightly news. No one like
Or it was the they had their Bachelor special on after that. It wasn't actually, or the Bachelorette.
Oh.
It wasn't even an actual episode of the Bachelorette. It was the weird like the Bachelorette meets all the former Bachelorette things, because they kept advertising this throughout the night.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
But it was like, okay, man, I get it.
That could start 15 minutes late. Like, who cares?
Yeah,
this
no one who's staying up
the most
to watch that.
watched thing. No, that's not true. A lot of people stayed up to watch that. I'm sure of it. I
know they did. I'm just saying anyone who stayed up to watch that doesn't mind staying up an extra 10, 15 minutes to start watching it.
Who cares? Like, the Oscars is the most watched thing on television besides NFL games.
Yeah.
Right? Like so why aren't you just like, yeah, let's have the Oscars go as long as we want. We'll sell more commercials. Like, why isn't that your attitude?
I genuinely don't understand a lot of decisions that are made around the Oscars. They're all very confusing. You know, it's. But yes, giving people, I think specifically what we need to land on is like, in memoriam needs as much time as it needs, and speeches need as much time as they need, and everything else you can negotiate around, and you should figure out what to cut for time. If you are like, hey, this is starting to run long, cut another one of the pre-planned bits. Like, have that ready to go. Have it ready to go. Yeah, you're going to cut one of the little bits.
Just be like, this is the one we're cutting if we're running long.
Yeah.
Because there were so many bits to start that I texted you being like, it feels like there's a lot of bits.
Yeah.
And some of them landed and some of them don't. And that's fine. Like, I'm not against that. What I'm against is having a million bits up front and then not doing the Oscars afterwards.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. This is not I love having a host. I love having some bits. This is not a comedy show about the Oscars. This is the fucking Oscars itself. So please, let it be the Oscars. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything else you wanted to say about the broadcast? I feel like it's. I think
I hit it all.
Yeah, I think we hit it all. I think ending on a good note of like, I think they did a very good job with this in memoriam. And I want to see more of this in the future. Is definitely the thing. I will also transition now into how I'm generally feeling about the results, which is like a little more mixed than how you were feeling. By actually referencing this Entertainment Weekly article again and saying, because it has like best and worst moments. And it has a few in here, like the 13th best thing that they list is like Michael B. Jordan winning and how wonderful that was. They also have like, Autumn Durrell Archipel winning and making history as the first woman cinematographer, et cetera, et cetera. They have like the Sinner's performance. In this list of best things, there is not a single thing about One Battle After Another winning anything. That feels like a weird commentary from like the general public about the show, because I think it's what that feels like to me is people being like, we don't, maybe as much as the film nerds, the general people who are just there for the like Entertainment Weekly kind of like, we like the dresses and stuff, kind of don't care that much about PTA winning an Oscar, which is unfortunate because it was delightful to see PTA finally win an Oscar,
Yeah.
especially after his casting director won, and she was like, "I've been working with you on this stuff for 20 years, and I got one before you." Like, ha ha ha! Like, that was a great moment. Even though I agree, I didn't want the casting thing to go to her. It was a delightful speech, and then yeah, having him get up and be able to do the like original screenplay, and them being like, he's been nominated like 14 times and he's never won this. Like, all of that was great from like a film nerd perspective. Um, but I was just sort of generally this morning looked up like Oscar reactions, and it just feels very quiet. The vibe is just sort of like, okay, you know, which like not exactly what I feel like we want. I totally understand why I think like your reaction to the results is a lot more like hell yeah, because it's like One Battle is your favorite movie of the year, and like Sinners is in your top five, so you're like my faves, like they won. But there does seem to be a weird vibe on the internet, which is just sort of like people just being like, yeah, fucking whatever. And like that's surprising. This felt like an Oscars that like had more juice coming in, I think, because of the like One Battle Sinners, thing. And who knows, maybe the fucking extreme opinions to one side or the other are just coming later in the morning. Maybe people are still writing their pieces to get published. But I couldn't personally find anything except on Reddit where people were actively like upset or super happy about last night.
That also sounds like Reddit. Like
yes, exactly. And actually someone on Reddit did point out that like the betting market this year was substantially more money than like in any previous year because of how much betting has just become like Kalshi and all those markets have like become so much bigger. That like there was, in terms of money bet on the Oscars, I think something like 10 times the usual amount of money that gets bet on the Oscars. At least on like public, books.
yeah.
So maybe that also has something to do with why people on Reddit are very mad, because maybe a lot of them lost money, and maybe they all lost money because of the tie in live action short. But yeah, that's very Reddit. That's very that corner of the internet. But yeah, the other corners of the internet I can find are all just sort of like, okay, yeah, fine, let's move on now. And like, that's too bad. I think having some discourse one way or the other is kind of a good thing for the Oscars, And my prediction when we had that nominations thing was like, I think Sinners needs to win at least like one big award for this not to be kind of a disaster for the Oscars. And they did. They got the best actor, which was not something that was predicted until like, the last couple of weeks, essentially, with him, I think, winning at SAG. And I think that really did sort of like soften the blow for the Sinners crowd, of like them not winning either director or picture. So like, I don't think anyone who is really rooting for Sinners is like all that upset, because it's like they still got 4 and they got like they got a couple pretty big moments of the night. Like Coogler got on stage, Michael B. Jordan got on stage. We got to like kind of celebrate it. And then, yeah, the One Battle stands, we got everything they wanted. So I don't know. Is it weird that I'm just sort of like, did the Oscars make everyone happy? Actually? And is that why I'm just seeing nothing about this? Like, I don't know.
I think
I think tell.
Part of this is the real heads, right? The people who would be posting on the internet knew generally what was going to happen for a month.
Yeah, and nothing surprised
anyone,
like
really. I think there were exactly 2 surprises for me. And one was casting, where One Battle won over Sinners, and the other was cinematography, where Sinners won over One Battle. Yeah. And like beyond that, it was so like the surprises went 1-1, and beyond that it was chalk.
Yeah, and those surprises are, I think cinematography to me is a pretty big award, but for many people that would be considered like a below the line thing. So
Oh,
not
it's definitely,
huge.
both of those are definitely considered below the line.
Yeah.
And so because of that, and because we've been talking about this for too long,
Yeah.
I think everyone's like, even if like the big picture pod who lived for this shit was like,
Hmm.
thank God it's finally over.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think this needs to happen in February. This needs to happen in mid February, and then I think we're going to get the kind of excitement that you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, yeah, having it. I mean, I don't even care if this happens before some of the precursors. You know, maybe the
I
precursors
think it would
really
be more
do care
interesting.
about that, but like, it would be more interesting to be like, we don't really know. You know, we don't have all of these data points
Yeah.
to base this off of. And or just also make the precursors all come earlier. I don't care. You're the Oscars. Bully these other shows around. Do whatever you want. You know, like
Oh, are you like they all do it. Like there's it's not a mistake that the Golden Globes is like the Sunday before
Mhm.
Oscars voting starts.
Yeah,
Right? Like there's not or before right before the nominations get announced. That's not
right.
a mistake. Like
No.
they all do this around the Oscars. And maybe
Hmm.
there's some conversation of like what's best for the industry. But the conversation this year has been like, oh my God, it's so late.
Yeah,
And so I hope they adjust.
I hope they do too. I feel like this. Yeah, this really points out in our like fix the Oscars conversation from last pod. Your just general critique of like, yes, move it earlier. This really points out how important that is. You
Yeah.
know, this general reaction, because of course, like, this should be a morning of people being like, hey man, Sinners got 4 Oscars. Like, Michael B. Jordan is like, joins a short list of incredible, black actors and actresses to win Best Actor. Like, this dude's like a legacy, like, all time great now. He gets to be with the all time greats. That's amazing. His speech was great. And like, PTA, after an incredible career that started in 1997, 1998, I want to say, somewhere around there. Or no, 96, I think, because his first, I remember, I didn't ever saw his first film. So I feel like it was 96. So like 30 years, 30 years of PTA. And he's finally getting his flowers, you know? And look, like, my personal feelings about, which we've discussed at length about One Battle, the versus Sinners and all that kind of stuff. Like, even me coming at this from a like, I would rather PTA get Best Picture for like a different film. Like, I would rather Sinners get Best Picture here than One Battle. I think last night I was sort of like, okay, you know, it's One Battle. This is chalk. This is not actually my personal favorite movie of the year. I would prefer something else to get this. I would prefer Sinners to get this. Obviously, my actual favorite film of the year, Train Dreams. I would prefer Train Dreams to get it. But like, okay, this is what everybody was saying was going to happen, and it happened. So I think that really does, yeah. It sort of dampens everything. But we should really be like, hey, we're celebrating great filmmakers here. And the broadcast actually did, or the results actually did a pretty dang good job of like celebrating great filmmakers. Um, and hell yeah, we got that one historic first in there of a woman finally winning for best cinematography. That was great. Like, there was some good stuff. So I really do wish that this didn't feel like a pretty muted conversation the day after. I don't know. Honestly, maybe it's also just betting markets make things like this a little bit more boring. You know, because like, with a sports game, you can have odds-on favorites, and then still, like, sports are going to happen live, and anything can happen. So it doesn't necessarily like make the sport less exciting. In fact, it makes the sport more exciting for anyone who has money on it. But I feel like the betting market for something like the Oscars, where there's so much information beforehand, and it is really just like about people's opinions. I do feel like a betting market starts to make, again, unless you have money riding on things, it starts to make it feel a little bit less exciting to me because there are so many places where they're literally like tabulating, like, there's a 33% chance that Michael B. Jordan gets this and a 32% chance that Timothy Chalamet gets this. So even if you've not been following for a little bit and you think Timothy Chalamet is going to get it, you can just look at that number and go, oh, well, this wasn't a surprise. And I feel like that should have been the moment of the night that, like, in a previous year without some of the betting stuff, that moment I feel like would have been the, like, oh, wow, he got it. Like, I know he got that SAG award, but, like, you know, nobody really thought this was a huge possibility until recently. And, like, that might have been more of a shock.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it would have been more of a shock. And I wonder if it was more of a shock to most viewers.
Most general people who aren't crazy like us.
To the people who aren't us. Yeah.
Yeah. Who aren't insane. Yeah, I have a biased perspective,
like,
I guess.
If we're going to say a winner, it has to be the favorites in the new version of this betting market, because they nailed pretty much everything.
Yeah. You know. Yeah, like, you can't predict the tie. And beyond that, they missed two things, right? Like you said, casting and cinematography. You know what? I think they also...
they missed three.
Documentary. Yeah, because I remember that's the one that I picked up by going with the dark horse of Mr. Nobody versus Putin. Because, again, we in our conversation, we were like, anti-Russia stuff just generally does well here.
The Academy loves it.
The Academy loves it. So that's 22 out of 25? Something like that?
Something
basically.
Like that, yeah.
Spot on. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, there have always been prognosticators who, like, do very well. So it's always been possible, if you are a crazy person like us, to just listen to the right people and basically get an Academy ballot that's going to be very on point in terms of your predictions. That's been possible for a long time. It just, to me, it feels like, because of the betting market, it's now just not like people who are crazy and obsessed with this and are going to look up what people are saying beforehand just for their own personal Oscar betting pool or whatever. It's now just like anyone who wants to make money on this whatsoever is going to go into this betting market and find these odds. So, yeah, I genuinely am wondering how much that is affecting this sort of next day news cycle, which seems to be very just sort of like quiet, is how I say, is how I would describe it. Just very quiet, you know. Yeah, it's a possibility. But yeah, I don't, you know, and again, because of that, I feel like I don't have a lot of strong opinions, you know. I feel like I need to say, I saw a clip, I think it was WBZ Chicago yesterday, where it was this round table of, like, I believe it was like three black movie critics, right? And one of them kind of said, like, yeah, I think this will be sort of my one thing of, like, I think that this is maybe a bad thing about last night's Oscars, potentially. But again, the Michael B. Jordan win softens this. So one of them was basically like, you know, to me, it doesn't matter all that much if Sinners wins, because, like, we've already really crowned this movie. You know, like, this is a movie that, like, Ryan Coogler definitely, like, made, like, for his people, for black people. We all went out, we all supported it. Like, we all we all basically think that this is like one of the best, Black American films of all time. Like we've crowned this thing already. And he said specifically, he was like, I personally like don't care about the Oscars that much because it feels like the Oscars don't really care that much a lot of the time about like black films. They don't care
Yeah.
that much about me, you know. So like that means I don't really care all that much if this wins. And one of the other critics there was like, I love that. I think that's great. What is funny though is that what you gotta watch when people say stuff like that, and then they win. You see them start to like tear up and like cry, and like that's because you do actually care a little bit, right? Like this does actually mean something to you.
Yes.
And they were both like, yeah, I feel like both are true. And yeah, watching that, I was like, I feel like that's the way. If you were like a Sinners stan, like I was, where I was like really hoping that Sinners would maybe pull off an upset here, at least in the Best Director category, if not Best Picture, like in one of those was my ideal night. I I think that was the right attitude going into it. Was like, it's already won by being this successful, but it would be a real like tearjerker moment if it like got over this final hurdle. Um, but I think what that critic said of just like I don't necessarily care about the Oscars that much because it feels like the Oscars don't care about me. I do think that the Oscars didn't do quite enough with the results this year to convince someone like that to start caring about the Oscars again. I think that the Michael B. Jordan win is enough to keep that person in the same emotional place of caring about the Oscars, of having that, like, I'm going to disconnect myself a little bit from this, but, like, it would be really sick if they started, like, really recognizing something like Sinners. But I don't think it was enough because of no Best Director and no Best Picture to get them to go, dude, maybe the Oscars is really different now. So that's also kind of unfortunate. It's just sort of, there was at the very least a chance for the Oscars to go, hey, we're, our voting body really kind of values different things than normal, and we're not going to just sort of go, here's a filmmaker who's been a legacy filmmaker, we're going to put, making sure he gets his Oscar over making sure this sort of population starts to get their flowers after historically not really getting them. And that's just, it's not really how it went. Again, I don't see very many people being super upset about it, and I'm not super upset about it, but it feels like the Academy just continuing to sort of be what the Academy has been. And I think I had hope after that Parasite win that the Oscars were going to start feeling like very different. And I think in the years since, I've just sort of gone, yeah, they seem relatively the same, actually. The nominations sometimes include stuff that's not usually nominated, but in terms of what wins, it feels relatively the same to me. Do that feel accurate to you at all, to your experience? Do you feel like it's gotten different since then at all?
I'm trying to remember. Okay, so it was last year was Anora.
Yeah.
The year before that was Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
It was what was before Oppenheimer?
Was it Coda before Oppenheimer?
Oh.
Or was that the Everything Everywhere All at Once year? I think that might have been Everything Everywhere.
Everything Coda, Everywhere All at Once did feel like a blip.
Yeah.
Like does feel new and exciting and
totally. Yeah, okay, I would say yeah. True.
Since Parasite, in order, it was Nomadland, Coda, Everything Everywhere, Oppenheimer, Anora, now One Battle.
Yeah.
I think there are two interesting things to think about with this, right? So, in post Oscars So White, they let in thousands and thousands of new members who were generally younger and more people of color.
Yeah, and
Uh,
international everything. Yeah,
and international and all that jazz.
yeah.
And since then, we have had Moonlight, Parasite,
Mm-hmm.
and Everything Everywhere All at Once that I would describe as not white movies, right?
Yeah.
Predominantly people of color
Mm-hmm.
starring and starring in those movies.
Yeah, and like behind the
Um,
scenes and everything. Yeah, yeah,
that is basically like 3 out of 10.
yeah. It's,
So
I mean,
I
it's
do
better.
wonder. It's better, but I do
Yeah,
wonder if like they let like because I don't know I know like it would be interesting to see the percentage of white people in the academy.
yeah,
And based on what I just said, I bet it's around 70%, which I would argue is still way too high.
yeah, yeah,
You know? But I wonder if that's going to change in the future.
yeah. I think it probably will, and I think that is due to how, not how the Academy does seem to be getting and the Oscars seem to be getting like less American focused. You know, there
Yes.
are consistently, it seems like in the nominations now, there are more international films getting nominated, whereas before it was very much like those are confined to the international film category, and we're just doing American films for Best Picture. And I do think, yeah, the more you are just sort of going like, we're allowing for films from anywhere in Asia, Europe, Africa, South America, like all you know any country that's not the United States, basically, to potentially get into that category. The more you are inherently letting more like non-European white people basically like into this,
Yeah. Because is Parasite the only non American or British winner? I want to say it is.
I think it is. I think it is. Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, unless there was some random like, hey, Coda was actually Canadian and I forgot or something, But like, I don't think that there's anything like that. Um,
Yeah.
uh,
And that's even if it was, like that's there it's all very like
yeah, no one's
if there was
considering
a
that super international.
yeah, if there was a Canadian producer on Coda, sorry, that's a movie about America, set in
Yeah,
America,
yeah,
made
no,
by Americans.
no,
Like,
yeah, no. It wouldn't change. It wouldn't change anything. That's all I'm saying. It's just, yeah, it wouldn't.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Uh,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think, but I think if anything, that needs to change,
Mm-hmm.
right? With all of the great cinema that's being made by like everywhere now, just like and maybe I would be interested in so like if you're talking to somebody about the movies from 2025,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be they're going to talk about Sinners and One Battle After Another first,
Yeah.
right? I would be interested to hear what the third movie people bring up because for me,
Mm-hmm.
three is sentimental value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like the third movie I think I've talked about the most is sentimental value, and then No Other Choice and It Was Just an Accident are right behind it for me.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
like having like you're not surprised that three of my 10 favorite movies this year are international films. I'm not
No.
surprised if it's like 3 or 4 out of 10 were for you. I am interested to hear from the the regular folks, the
Yeah.
not insane people
Yeah. The
about
people who
movies.
like movies but
How
aren't
many
going to everything.
international like like for the people who go to the movies like once a month,
Hmm.
I would be so interested to hear how many international features they saw.
Yeah,
You know?
I would love to know for sure. Because it feels, yeah, to us who are like, we're going to the movies a lot, it feels very much like international movies are like almost the events some of the time. You know, like they're like the not necessarily like they're going to make the most money, but it's like frequently an international movie is like the thing I'm the most excited to see. You know?
If whenever Bong Joon Ho makes a movie,
Mm-hmm.
that's the movie I'm most excited for that year. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
um,
100%. You know, and yeah, over again, like there was Christmas Day in Austin at the very least. I don't think everywhere. I think no other choice came out a little later in most markets, but like Christmas Day, it was a choice between seeing like Marty Supreme and seeing No Other Choice. And I wanted to see No Other Choice. You know, so like
wait,
that's
I'm on Box Office Mojo looking at the annual from last year, and I want to find where an international feature comes up.
oh like in terms
Uh,
of the oh well, it's gonna be high because Neja 2 got so much money in China.
no, just domestic, just domestic.
Just domestic. Okay, good.
Um,
Yeah,
so hold on, not in the top 20. Uh,
interesting.
not in the top 30.
Wow, so maybe it's
Are
just
we?
really limited. Like the limited, we're
We
in
are not
major
counting.
release
Are we
areas.
counting 28 years later? I'm not.
No, I mean, yeah, it's UK, but no, it wouldn't fit into what we're looking for right now because we're talking about like, do people see movies that are not, British or United States, essentially?
So Mickey 17 was 46th. I still I okay.
That's so,
So
and that's an American co-production too. I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
Bong,
yeah.
but it's yeah.
I'm not counting it. Niza 2 is the highest
Wow.
non-English speaking movie, and it was 70th.
See, so
So I think it's just us. I
it
think
might
it's
just
just the
be
real
us.
heads.
I mean, it's just the real heads, but like also that then does get into a discussion which we do not have to have right now because it's a larger one probably, but like the like is it the Oscars' responsibility to nominate a bunch of stuff that everyone saw, or is it their responsibility to find the art that was the most significant from that year, regardless of financial success or how available it was, and like shine a spotlight on that and potentially give that art more success. Um, and yeah, it is. I mean, to briefly give my opinion on that, it's both because it's a show. Oscars is a show, and it has to have commercial concerns, and also it's a celebration of art, so it has to have artistic concerns. So, you know, I don't know. I still think personally, I think you would probably get some film heads back to the Oscars if more international or just more sort of like diverse in general films actually started feeling like they have a better chance of winning. And as we discussed, they do have a slightly better chance of winning. They have a 3 in 10 chance, whereas I'm sure if you looked at the 10 years before that, it was like a 1 in 10 or 0 in 10 chance, you know? But if we got it up to like a 5 in 10 chance, even, I feel like, you know, it would be better. I do think having a year like this where you have something where it's like Sinners has the most nominations ever, but we're still like, but it's not going to win though, does sort of dampen people's, you know, general like excitement for like, oh, like my films, my culture are being really recognized here,
But I
you know?
also think that like piggybacking off of your idea, I completely agree. I also think having a it's time winner
Mm-hmm.
is just lame.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like walking into this year, I would have been like, oh, who's gonna win the best director Oscar? It's gonna be PTA and it's gonna be one battle after another before I saw anything.
Yeah.
And that's lame. It's
Yeah.
just lame. And that is what we need. I would really love if the Oscars kick to the curb.
Yeah.
And they are
Yeah.
not going to.
No. No, because it's people voting with their emotions. And,
Yeah.
just inherently when you're doing that, you do start to go like, man, am I really not gonna vote for Glenn Close again? You know? Like you do
Which
start to
they are going to not vote for Glenn
you are,
Close
yeah.
again.
Ultimately, that person decides, no, I'm not going to vote for Glenn Close again, and that sucks for Glenn Close. But they have that moment at the very least, and they have it for not just Glenn Close, but for a bunch of people, for PTA, So I think you do sort of, yeah, you're an Oscar voter. You are looking at this and going, hey, I may actually think that Joachim Trier or whoever or Ryan Coogler did a better job directing this. And as a reminder, I thought PTA should win this actually for Best Director. I just wanted Sinners to win Best Picture. I wanted them to split it in some way or another. But I think PTA is very deserving.
I wanted them to split too. I thought that would have been the right thing to do for this year.
Yeah.
To be like, there are two favorites. Let's split them.
Yeah. Let's give.
Unfortunately, they can't do that.
No, because it's not like no one knows what anybody else is voting for. But like PTA is deserving for this directing job. Like I think he did an incredible job directing this movie. But even if you think that somebody else is better, you're probably still sitting there as an Oscar voter going, "This is the biggest budget he's ever gotten. It's the biggest financial success of a movie he's ever gotten. It is the most sort of like broad appeal of a movie that he has made. Like he's made a lot of very like strange little stories. And this one is sort of about a like bigger societal thing. And so like if we're saying no to this, when is he going to make something that we go, this one is the one? And yeah, I mean, you can't get people to stop thinking that way. But it does make it, unfortunately, not always a pure question of like, is this truly the best of the year? And that would be more ideal. It would be more like ideologically pure, to just be like, we are celebrating the best. We are considering nothing but what you actually think is the best. Do not allow other factors to cloud anything. But yeah, that'll never happen. So, yeah, man. I am looking forward to just being able to talk about some silly movies that we like, maybe in the next couple episodes. Just doing a maybe finally doing a Send Help episode or which I still have not gotten to go see, or just some other thing. Oh, I did see Nirvana the band, the show, the movie. That's amazing. We could talk about that.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's so funny.
March 20th. Mm-hmm. So in 4 days, Ready or Not 2, Here I Come is coming out, which I'm so excited to talk with you about.
We both loved the original. That'll probably end up being the next episode, to be honest. Yeah, we can sneak in a little discussion maybe of Nirvana the band, the show, the movie, or whatever, before we get into Ready or Not. But because more people should go see that. That movie is bonkers, amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah, absolutely a joy. What a surprise! I walked in as you told me to. I walked in knowing absolutely nothing, and it was perfect. So maybe we shouldn't tell anybody anything about it. Just be like, please go.
Just go see it. Just listener, go watch it. Rowan,
listener,
go see it.
Get out there.
Is it still in movie theaters? I'm looking it up right now.
It might be. I have no idea. But yeah, do you have any closing thoughts on the Oscars before we wrap up?
No, I'm done.
No. Yeah. Yeah. You know, we're good. Not a bad Oscars night overall. Um, I would be very curious. Actually, have you listened to the Big Pictures like reaction show? I don't
I
know if it's
listened to like the first half.
the first
I
half. I
haven't
haven't
finished it
listened
yet.
at all. I'll be because
Yeah,
obviously they are both huge one battle heads. I'll be interested to see like how excited they are about this and how they feel in
yeah.
general. Um, uh, anyway, thank you all. Thank you all so much. In conclusion, go see Nirvana, the band, the movie, the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.